For thousands of cycles, the Zarn Dominion had believed themselves to be the apex of biological design masters of gene sequencing, bioweapons, and cognitive manipulation. They had subjugated dozens of species across the Orion Arm, each absorbed and pacified with clinical efficiency. That was until they discovered the humans' dot. It started as a routine sweep. A derelict Terran scout vessel drifted beyond the rim of Sector 9 Theta. No distress signals, no signs of battle, just a silent floating coffin. The Zarn recovered it and towed it into orbit around the science world Nurok 3. The vessel contained one body, a deceased human male, mostly intact. Zarn lead geneticist Vorozine had seen thousands of cadavers across species, but there was something unsettling about this one. The human was lean, with muscles like braided cables, and the expression frozen on its face was not one of fear but grim satisfaction. The dissection began at first. Everything appeared mundane. Two-lung structure, bilateral symmetry, redundant organs, a clumsy biological machine by Zarn standards. But then they reached the cerebral tissue. Strange, muttered Vorozine through his translator, his tendrils twitching. High neural density in prefrontal cortex. Aggression centers hyperdeveloped. Almost engineer. His assistant, a junior geneticist named Karef, peered over his ocular lenses. But humans are pre-L primitives. They didn't even master neural recoding until recently. Vorozine's primary eye dilated. Precisely why this is concerning, further genetic analysis yielded more alarming data. Hidden within non-coding regions of the human genome previously dismissed as junk DNA, they found sequences that didn't belong. They were not random mutations or legacy viral remnants. These strands were structured, purposeful, encoded. What is this? Karef asked, his voice trembling. Vorozine stared at the screen. It's an executable protocol. A dormant code embedded into the genome, waiting for a trigger. He initiated a quantum simulation. The genome was exposed to artificial stress markers, rapid oxygen loss, extreme adrenal spikes, auditory shock. Then it happened. The human DNA restructured itself in a cascade of biochemical signals. The genome activated dozens of previously dormant genes. Simulated cells began producing neurotoxins, exoskeletal reinforcements, and microtubule-enhanced myofibrils. Neural activity quadrupled. A theoretical human subjected to this activation would experience enhanced strength, speed, and processing speed far beyond any Zarn elite soldier. But It's impossible, Karef gasped. This is like a latent berserker mode. Vorozine nodded slowly. A combat protocol, biological failsafe, hidden in every strand of their being. Who would do this? Not who. They did it to themselves. Back on the bridge of the XSS Omulov, High Strategist Breenva reviewed the findings with a scowl. You mean to tell me, he growled, that every human is a potential apex predator waiting to wake up? Vorozine nodded across the comlink. Yes, strategist. And worse, the trigger appears to be threat recognition. They only unleash the protocol when faced with overwhelming danger. Which explains why their early colonies survived pirate raids, Breenba muttered. They shouldn't have, but they fought back with primitive tools and no armor, and still won. Correct, said the geneticist. Even their psychological profiles indicate abnormal resilience. Trauma strengthens them. Loss empowers them. Our AGE unlocks them. Breenva was silent for a moment. Then he spoke softly. We tried to enslave them. Yes. What happens if we try again? Vorozine hesitated. Then replied, they'll become monsters. 3 cycles later, the Tsar mounted an incursion on Terra Nova, one of the outer human colonies suspected to be militarily weak. A test. A warning. They never received a distress signal. All comes from the Zarn. Strike team ceased within 27 minutes of touchdown. Recon drones sent afterward were either destroyed or returned corrupted. Video. But one drone got through. What it transmitted was chaos. Humans, hundreds of them fighting without armor, some without weapons, tearing through Zarn commandos with blunt instruments and bare hands. Their eyes glowed red under infrared. Muscle mass had visibly increased. Movement patterns were erratic and unpredictable, impossible to counter. They moved like predators possessed by algorithmic madness. One Zarn soldier was seen screaming. They don't die, they adapt. Then static. The drone feed ended. In the Zarn High Assembly. Panic spread like fire. Deactivate the invasion plan. Seal the borders. Send peace envoys. But it was too late. Humanity had detected the threat. Across thousands of colonies, reports of activation events began to rise. Peaceful farmers suddenly exhibiting combat mastery during pirate attacks. Children lifting fallen debris to save comrades. Scientists outmaneuvering Zarn hacking systems with no prior. Cyber warfare training. The protocol was awake. And it was spreading. The humans didn't call it anything special. To them, it was simply pushing through. A latent trait they had never understood until now. Evolution had given them more than intelligence. It had given them adaptability with teeth. They didn't conquer by choice, but once provoked, they didn't stop. Months later, the last remaining Zarn War Council gathered on a hidden moon base. Their empire, once thought eternal, now lay in ruin. Humanity had no central ruler, no galactic emperor. And yet, their revenge was coordinated like a symphony of annihilation. Cities were spared. Civilians were treated with mercy. But military targets? Erased. One counselor whispered what many feared. We poked a species that evolved specifically to survive extinction events. Another replied, no, worse. We awoke the part of them that was designed for extinction-level retaliation. In the cold silence that followed, one message came through the deep wave channel. It was from Earth. One sentence. This is our final warning. Do not mistake our patience for weakness again.